Black voters
Is it
support
racist
Georgia ID law.
to require an ID to cast a vote in an election?
No, you need your ID for everything nowadays. Why would it be considered racist when we all have to carry one?
You should already have an ID. I live in Georgia now,
All right.
and I voted. They ain't seen me nothing with no problem, so it's not racist.
No, that has nothing to do with race.
Has nothing to
Smart. Finally, fucking Boo Boo Bennett has decided to actually find people that agree with her instead of going and getting absolutely cumstered and dumpstered by like people who lightly and gently disagree with her that just look very smart in comparison to how stupid she is. I'm glad that she decided to do the smart thing, which is just literally look for people that agree with her.
Georgia just passed a bill.
Bro, how the fuck are you gonna wear a coat in Florida? Like, what the fuck is she doing, bro? What is happening right now? It's literally 70 degrees and like humid as fuck right now.
A lot of big companies are pulling out because they say that it's racist to require an ID to cast a vote in an election. Do you guys think that's racist?
Racist to You said what?
To use an ID to vote.
No, that has nothing to do with race.
Has nothing to do with race.
If it's for everybody, then no, it's not.
Okay, so here is the funny thing, or most people are inexperienced about this sort of shit and they're unfamiliar, so they don't understand. Segregation isn't literally, back when like Jim Crow laws were enforced, wasn't literally enforced on like, if you're black, you can't do this, okay? In certain places, it literally was like that, but in a lot of like legislation that was codified, it didn't directly say like, blacks can't vote. Okay, there was such a thing as the grandfather law, for example. It's so that people don't recognize that the action that they're engaging in or the things that they're advocating for are directly fucking racist. The grandfather law implied that if your grandparents were not able to vote, then you were not able to fucking vote. Why would they do that? Well, maybe that's one way that you can stop black people from fucking voting because their grandparents were not allowed to fucking vote. So if you were a dumbass, racist, white supremacist, you would then say, actually, it's not racist, sweaty. Show me where the law says blacks can't vote. It actually just says your grandparents can't vote. Some white people's grandparents couldn't vote either. It's just a way to use an out. It's just a way to fucking use this as an opportunity to get away with voter suppression, specifically voter suppression that targets poor people, specifically voter suppression that targets black and brown people. Now, the reason why voter ID laws, and this is really hard to fucking describe to so many people, the reason why voter ID laws are discriminatory against black and brown people, specifically poor people, but more often than not black and brown people, is because of the way that the DMV process works. It usually requires amount of money that you need to pay to be able to get a driver's license. Not everyone is afforded a driver's license immediately at the moment that they turn 18. Not everyone has not a driver's license, but just like a national voter ID, for example. We don't have that in the United States of America, unfortunately. This is precisely the reason why these restrictive protocols are often utilized, or rather weaponized, against black and brown people. That's precisely why, suspiciously, secretaries of state that decide to, implement voter ID measures will do so after shutting down DMVs in black and brown neighborhoods. It's just one other way of stopping people from fucking voting. It's just to make it harder for people to vote. It's also, it's purposely deceptive in that they leave out the registration of the vote is the verification process in and of itself. They are adding an additional fucking hurdle to the verification process when a verification process already literally exists. Why are they adding this? Is there an influx of fake IDs? Is there an epidemic of fake voters? Is there an epidemic of voter fraud, for example? Of course not. That's the other part of the argument that we never talk about. It just tries, kind of like every other conservative or reactionary point of view, to make it seem like it's like an obvious thing. Like, yeah, of course you should have an ID to vote. It's just another way to disenfranchise poor people. Oftentimes those poor people are black and brown. It's one of the many different ways of doing it. And if you wanted to, you should make it easier for everyone to get a fucking state ID, okay, across the board, a national ID, if you will. And then they can go out and implement voter ID measures as long as everyone can have one, as long as it's easy for people to do so, and as long as people can verify in other ways.
And let me tell you right now, Biden sucks. And I'm a black guy saying that. Trump 2020. Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah! Oh yeah! If you don't have it,
sick, dude. Fucking Sick, dude. It's wrong for her to ask people who aren't educated on the subject. No, she asked people who aren't educated on any subject all the time. I'm just finally surprised. I'm surprised that it finally took her this long to fucking find people that literally agree with her. She goes to spring break locations on purpose. That's her whole content. And even uneducated motherfuckers usually dunk on her pretty hardcore.
Georgia, they just passed a bill to require voter ID to cast a vote in an American election.
It's not just voter ID. You also have to recognize like when, why, and where these measures have been implemented. It's not just voter ID. Georgia implemented a fuckload of restrictions, okay, including like not having water and food be served at lines. Saying that it's just simply voter ID is ridiculous. And they did it after there was an ease in fucking ballot registration because more black people were able to fucking vote, and therefore it changed the electoral outcome for the state of fucking Georgia.
Requiring an ID to vote is racist. Is it racist?
Like, the big part of the problem isn't the ID verification in Georgia. It's literally making it harder for mail-in voting to occur in the state. The real question, the honest question here is, do you see a problem with people being able to vote by fucking mail? Do you see a problem with more people being able to vote? And if you ask Republicans that, they're going to say, yes, of course I do. Why? Because more people voting means Republicans are not going to be able to win elections, and I don't like that. It's at the heart of the Republican agenda.
Some companies are pulling out. I assume this is where you know what's going on, because they're saying that law is racist. Is it racist to require an ID?
Like, she's just hyper-focusing on the racism element of it and the voter ID element of it, when the real conversation is much larger than this, and the real reason why they're implementing these measures is because black people were able to vote in higher numbers than they ever had before in the state of Georgia and fucking won the election fair and square. It's just literally trying to implement an anti-democratic measure to stop more people from going out and fucking exercising a constitutional right that was given to them.
Hey, on that racist. Wait,
I'm racist.
You're racist?
I'm racist? How so?
Are you a Trump supporter?
Where's the proof that I'm racist?
On your Twitter. Are you
Just proof. If you're gonna call people racist.
Are you a Trump supporter? Bro, come on. Bro, break that. Chill out. You got the mic. I don't want to be on camera.
You're gonna call people racist? Back it up, dude. For the uncensored portion, I do have something to say about that. So sign up at Liberty Hangout.
Bro, she means the N-word. I swear to God, dude. The fuck you mean for the uncensored portion, dude? What the fuck? Like, for the uncensored portion, watch me say it.
On TV, they say that black people can't access the DMV and they can't get to the place to get an ID, and they aren't smart enough to get on a computer.
Well, that's their fault.
Why do we ask them?
Like, they could better themselves.
If the Democrats truly cared, then they would have lower bus fares for they can go to the DMV.
Bro, that is literally, like, that is a nuclear group, okay? This is like enriched uranium, like, waiting to happen. You got homies wearing fucking, you know, fishing sweaters and shit. You got a dude wearing that what is that cap? Like, I'm sorry, I'm profiling right now. This is a group of dudes that even Boo Boo Bennett should not reach out to in this circumstance. You never know what the fuck they're gonna say, okay? This is not white boy summer, by the way. Do not say this is white boy summer, okay? This is the dude that is like, I'm from Detroit, bro, when they're from Ann Arbor. That's the dude.
Is requiring an ID, a form of ID, to vote in an election in America, is it racist?
To get an ID, you should already have an ID, right?
Well, Delta is mad at Georgia. MLB is pulling their game.
Bro, the reason why people are mad at Georgia isn't even around voter ID. What the fuck is she talking about? I'm so confused, dude. Why is she making this into a voter ID? Voter ID separately is a fucking issue, okay? It's literally an issue, regardless. The reason why people are mad at fucking Georgia is because Georgia had less restrictions on ballot registration and also voting drop-off points as a consequence of COVID. And it was so successful in getting more people to go out and vote that the state of Georgia and the Republicans that are in charge of the voting process there said, oh my God, this is terrible. Black people are voting. More poor people were able to vote because they didn't have to because it wasn't restricted to a single day. We need to limit that. It has nothing to do with like voter ID and all that shit.
How are they going to mail you your voter's registration and your voter ticket if they don't have an ID?
They said there shouldn't be an ID requirement.
Because, I mean, they mailed me my stuff and I voted.
Were you able to get an ID?
Yeah. Okay. I have a Georgia license.
Okay. So you're from Georgia?
No, I'm from Florida.
Okay.
But I have a Georgia license.
Okay.
I live in Georgia now.
All right.
And I voted. They ain't seen me nothing with no problem. So it's not racist. Just let y'all know.
So close, dude. So fucking close to the truth. Oh, so there is a verification process where they just like don't mail something to you randomly. Okay, got it.
Is it racist to require an ID to cast a vote in an election?
Like, it's the same question that should be asked of Brian Kemp when he was a Secretary of State running against Stacey Abrams, who lost. Brian Kemp became the governor. Is it racist to ensure that names with hyphens are purged from the voter ballots, from the voter rolls? Well, the real reasoning behind it is yes. It's because black people are more likely to use the actual handwritten registration at the DMV, which leads to more problems, or if they have more hyphens in their names, which leads to more problems that do not immediately match up their actual name on the identification versus their name on the registration process. And the only reason why we know this is because motherfuckers are so desperate to stop black and brown people from fucking voting that they found out that there is a higher likelihood that you're going to be targeting a fuckload of poor people and a higher number of black and brown people if you purge people whose names are not immediately and directly matching up with their voter registration. That's precisely what happened with Brian Kemp. That is a real fucking story. Now, the idiotic way to talk about it is like, well, if your name doesn't match up, are hyphens racist? Are hyphens and if your name like doesn't fully match up and you get purged from the voter rolls, is that racist? Well, yeah, motherfucker. The real reason for why they did that is racist. None of this would be a problem if everyone had an ID, and it was easy as fuck to get an ID, by the way.
So why are they using the race card to try and not have election security, do you think?
The ones who are using it is counteracting what it really is. That's not racism, but because black people endure it so much, now it's almost like they're trying to use reverse racism for every little...
What the fuck? How does she find these people, bro? Oh
everything.
My God.
If everything's racist, then nothing can be racist.
Exactly. It is very offensive that everything is used as racism, but what really is racism.
As if these people are hard to find in Tampa? Oh no, 100%. 100%. It is literally, yeah, like affirmative action is racist because, you know, if you're trying to right the wrongs of racism or racist actions of the past, you obviously have to do it along the lines of said race that was pushed behind. So that inherently is racist because, you know, there's still racial segregation.
The culture, no matter religion, facts are facts. Can't change that.
Facts don't
People are so fucking dumb.
They're about the feelings.
The people that she interviewed are always dumb, but some of them very easily dunk on her. And I'm surprised that her like new way to go about it is just to like not have her editors changed or some shit because they're no longer keeping in the cut people that fucking absolutely obliterate her. Like I probably won't watch it anymore because it's no longer fun. It's just like a stupid person talking to other stupid people and agreeing.
What do you think? Is it racist?
I mean, it can be, but it all depends on how you really look at it. Racism could be something to somebody else. Like it could be based on your skin color. It could be based on what you do versus...
Okay, this is like dumb people talking to other dumb people, which is like, I wish it was fun. You know what I mean? Am I the only one who feels like this is not, I don't know. It's just like no longer fun anymore when they're like deliberately trying to fucking put together a video that is, you know, calculated this way. There was an element of confusion. Like there was people that always agreed with her in the videos, but there was also people that disagreed with her that made it fun. When the disagreement goes away, it's just like kind of fucking makes it no longer fun. I've seen this thing. I've heard about this. Like, apparently the BLM co-founder spent millions on fancy homes. This is like the new Fox News talking point they found. I don't know who the fuck the BLM co-founder is. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Let's take a look at what's happening here.
So much. I mean, maybe I'm being too soft, but anybody who can talk, you know, America's woke corporate structure into sending close to $100 million on the basis of that lame rap kind of gets my respect.
She has my respect because she's unapologetic in her approach. She's telling you what she is. She's a Marxist. So Marxists steal money from other people and they enrich.
Who is this person? Like, who is this person? I legitimately don't know. Like, every social justice cause gets co-opted by corporatists, capitalists, who then turn it into a commodity. But like, I don't know who the fuck this person is. One of the co-founders is a professor in a conservative ass town I went to college in. Like, there's like the head of like the fucking New York BLM or some shit who was like, I love cops. You know what I mean? There's like so many fucking random people that are like, I'm associated with BLM and I'm black. And it tracks for fucking racist Andes. You know what I mean? Because they're like, well, he's black. She's black. Good enough for me, brother. It's like the same take as, what do you call it? Just like being the CEO of racism. You know what I mean? It's a fucking movement, dog. There is no like corporate ties. Is an American artist and activist co-founder of Black Lives Matter movement. Killers created the hashtag Black Lives Matter. Wait, this person is a fucking co-founder because they created the Black Lives Matter hashtag in 2013? Motherfucker, that's their association? Shit, dude. I'm the fucking co-founder of Black Lives Matter, dude. Colors teaches the Otis College of Art and Design, along with community organizers, founded Black Lives Matter. The three started the movement out of frustration with the George Zimmerman acquittal. Garza's use of the phrase, making a Facebook post. Okay, so there's like a Black Lives Matter org, right? I think. I don't even fucking know. I don't even know, by the way, because I don't know when these things turn into LLCs. I tell you all the time. That's why you got to go with the fucking mutual aid networks rather than like these organizations that then again commodify and commoditize the actual social justice cause. Marxists who co-endorse Warren and Sanders, there's nothing here that implies the misuse of funds anything. They literally wrote books and signed a TV deal with the Warner Brothers. I mean, look, the grift on it is people from the left can criticize this, okay? People from the left can criticize this and be like, you are capitalizing on actual social justice. You are capitalizing on black trauma. You being black or you being a original founder or you know, an original founder of this like decentralized movement does not mean you can go and like fucking make bank off of it. It's still somewhat unethical. A person who can genuinely make that argument, and many organizers that have been involved in Black Lives Matter movements around the country have made that argument against those who have become famous in the aftermath of these sorts of instances. People criticize Sean King all the fucking time. People criticize the Pod Save America dude who wears the vest all the time. DeRay, like, people criticize DeRay all the time. There's always been a lot of fucking conflict in that area whenever people are like putting themselves as like leaders in any sort of movement, and then they end up like, you know, writing fucking books about it, or, you know, getting movie deals out of it or some shit like that. That does not devalue the movement itself. People also criticize you for capitalizing on social justice. Of course they do. Because, you know, it's really fucking tight. You know, I've sold the rights to Black Lives Matter. That's what I did. Yeah, I sold the rights to Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. This is, you know, mogul moves, baby. So where was I? Oh, okay. So like that's a legitimate criticism to fucking launch. It does not invalidate the actual legitimate grievances that people have on the ground in regards to police brutality, in regards to the racist criminal justice system, in regards to systemic racism and its impact on the black population, the brown population in the United States of America and worldwide. It does not all of a sudden make better the many, many years of slavery, rape, genocide, cultural genocide, erasure of any sort of fucking values or culture or ethnic background that you might have had, you know, and the profound impact that you had on the American economy or Western economies in general. It does not erase any of that. So people that like are rushing to point this person who has like made her bag or whatever after founding the Black Lives Matter hashtag or trying to make an LLC out of a legitimate social justice cause, when they are people like Tucker Carlson, that criticism is bullshit, okay? Motherfucker, if this person is capitalizing on BLM and social justice causes, you're literally capitalizing on white supremacy. You make a living and get paid millions, tens of millions of dollars a year by doing the reverse fucking SJW shit and running the identity politics for white motherfuckers all day, every goddamn day. So what the fuck are you doing criticizing another person for this in this respect? You have no concern over the sanctity of the Black Lives Matter movement. You are just using this as an opportunity to attack. You're using this to attack legitimate fucking grievances that people have on the ground.
Al Sharpton must be looking at this and saying, like, I've done this for 40 years. Where did I go wrong? I don't have a house in Topanga Canyon.
Right, exactly right.
Yeah, Al Sharpton is famously not wealthy. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, what do you mean? He's rich as fuck, too. Still malding about Sharpton? Yeah, that's like peak old white guy grievance is like hating on Al Sharpton, okay? Hating on Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Those guys are race hustlers, I say, brother. Why can't you be a race hustler for inbred whites like Tucker Carlson? He's doing a good job. He deserves $10 million.
$21 million apparently went to, according to Black Lives Matter themselves, it went to building the black movement. Like, I don't even know what that means. $25 million going to building a black movement. Apparently, the black movement was Patrice moving herself, a black woman moving herself into other areas of the communities of people that she claims are oppressing black Americans. She's fearful of white people. White people are so bad. Well, why doesn't she want to live amongst black people? Why is she choosing to move herself into an all-white neighborhood? These are important questions.
I love that, dude. What a wonderful standard to set. What a wonderful example from a black person, by the way. I don't understand. Why the fuck do these black folk want to, desegregate society if these whites are so racist? Like, oh, sick, dude. Why do black people want to move into white neighborhoods if whites are so bad? I don't get it, brother. That's fucking great, dude. What an incredible take, dude. The fact is, what she's saying is that a woman has spoken out against neighborhoods like that. Yeah, I understand. Speaking out and criticizing incredibly white neighborhoods. I'm not even defending this person, okay? They could literally be a gigantic grifter. But the argument itself is so fucking stupid. It's like, oh, you claim to criticize all white neighborhoods, yet you choose to live in one. It's like, yeah. They're not criticizing the existence of all white neighborhoods as a standalone project. Like, if black people moved into all white neighborhoods that are incredibly wealthy neighborhoods in general, they would diversify the demographic of those neighborhoods. And it would no longer be an incredibly racist all white neighborhood that's like super fucking wealthy. That's how it would work, right? Even if we are to assume that this person is a grifter as much as like these other grifters are making her out to be, which she very well could be, it seems like it, okay? Like I said, ethical gray area. I'm not perfectly comfortable with that. Rather ironic that it's Candace Owens, who is literally like the worst kind of grifter, criticizing this other grifter. It takes one to know one, I guess.
What is it? What are they investing in when they invest in the lie that is Black Lives Matter? What is the return? Yeah. I think Josh Hawley alluded to it in the previous segment, and I think you're onto something when you say that the corporations seek to control this country. They're willing to give up money. They're willing to let their stores be rioted and looted because they see something bigger that they're gaining from these riots and these lootings and these lies, and that is control over this country. It's power, and it's sinister, and it's sick.
The lie that is Black Lives Matter. You think she legit hates being black herself? What the fuck do you think, dude? I mean, I think she likes being wealthy. That's one. So she'll do whatever she can. And her wealth is directly tied to how much she fucking hates on black people.
And if some Pakistani liquor store owner is destroyed in the process, like, you think Jeff Bezos cares? No.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos loves Black Lives Matter and fucking and doesn't care that, you know, BLM directly contributes to Pakistani liquor store owners getting their shit dropped. Which Tucker Carlson, who has literally called, like, you know, Muslims, Iraqis, primitive apes that deserve to be fucking firebombed into oblivion. That guy actually does care about the fucking Pakistani liquor store owner. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Also, why would a Pakistani dude own a liquor store? I don't know, but you know, that's besides the point.